All right, let's bring him in. You know him from season 21 of Big Brother. He also now hosts the Real Talk podcast, fifth place finisher on season 21 of Big Brother. It is Tommy Bracco. Tommy, what's up, man?
What's up, Steve? You're the best. Thank you so much. Thanks
It's
for
been a
having me.
while since we spoke. I know a lot has happened
I
in your
know.
life. We're going to talk about all that stuff, but I wanted to immediately jump into this season of Big Brother, which is so I have so many thoughts, and you're really the first person I've been able to dissect, at least 5 weeks into the season here, exactly what's been going on. And before we get to the actual contestants of this season, I want to talk about kind of the theme and what you like or don't like. So first off, I got to ask, do you like 3 noms in the BBAI arena or no?
Love it.
You do?
Love it, but I think it's overstayed its welcome.
Yeah.
I think, who was HOH first, like Angela being in the position having to nominate 3 people first week versus T-Core having to do it in week 5, putting up 3 noms, that's like essential. She actually had to nominate 4 people. That's a third of the house left, more than a third of the house left. So that's just, it's too much. I think that it's setting the HOH. You're supposed to be taking that week to set yourself up because you can't play the following week. And I think this makes it way more difficult for the HOH to do that. I just don't think it's fair to the HOH to go on this long into the game because nominating 3 people now means something very different than it did the first 4 weeks. So
totally agree.
But I think it should have cut off at 4 weeks.
Yeah, that's what I'm at the beginning of the season when we found out this was it. I said, I bet you it's gone after 4 weeks. Well, now we're in week 5. It's still not gone. My guess is it's going to be gone in the next couple of weeks because you can't do this down to 5. You can't have 3 noms when there's 5 people left.
It's too much. It's too much. It's not right to the HOH. It's not fair.
Do you like the fact that one of the 3 has a chance to save themselves every week with the AI Arena?
Love that. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Now, you're more of you probably follow it, and obviously you talk about it more than I do. And so you probably have a better memory of things. All the AI arenas that have happened thus far this season, have they all been, have any of them been any sort of trivia or memory game, or has it all been do something in the quickest amount of time? Hasn't it? There haven't been any memory or trivia in AI Arena, has there? I don't think. I could be wrong.
No, I think you're right. I'm going through them in my head right now, and I think you're right. I think they're all time based. And they have to be because it's got to happen quickly. We're on live TV. It's a live competition.
Yeah.
So I think that's why. But I do agree that the AI Arena competitions are a little stale for me. I feel like they could use a little bit more versatility for sure.
Well, the other thing, and we'll get to it when we talk about Tucker, is just the fact that, well, before we get to Tucker, because he is the most talked about contestant, I think, in a while on this show. You and I share pretty much the same opinion of him, and I want you to repeat it once we start talking about it. But
which is the unpopular opinion too.
Yeah,
most people are obsessed with him.
They love him. I mean, the fact that he got voted AI instigator, which I want to talk about next, just goes to show. Like, I understand that Quinn won the first vote, but that was more of a vote for, that was a negative thing that Quinn won, right? It wasn't a popularity thing. It was kind of a negative thing. This one was, hey, who do you want to basically cause chaos in the house? Well, if they didn't like Tucker, they would have voted for him. Yeah. So do you like the AI instigator twist?
Yeah, it's so fun. It's great. It's like America's Player that we've seen in the past. It's awesome. It's great. But to me, I don't watch for twists like the AI instigator. I more watch for, I feel like that's just like a fun casual viewer twist thrown in there. That's just like, it's just, it adds to the fun of the summer show, but I don't think it really matters in terms of the game too much. However, I find Tucker's actions as the AI instigator very interesting, and I think it supports how I feel about him, how I have felt about him, and I'm taking it how you feel about him too. He He's way more strategic than he's letting on. He is way more calculated. I thought it was very interesting that Quinn, the holograph of Quinn, the first AI instigator, persona, whatever, says mentally Tucker would be nothing without Rabina. You should have voted her out. So in that moment, not only is Tucker trying to put more target on Rabina, but he's also trying to downplay his own threat level. That's on purpose. That is extremely calculated and smart. That is smart. But then don't go in the DR and say that you only wanted to do that so you can hold hands on and out in public. Like, he's not owning it in the DR. But I'm like, there's no way that you were only saying that because you wanted to hold hands with Rabina out in public. That was way more calculated, and I want to see that. If that's the truth, I want to see that in the DR. I just don't feel the authenticity with his game all the time, and it's bothering me.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is, and this is what I have brought up, is, since this show started, I've been told about things in Tucker's past and shown videos. I just, when I watch Big Brother, I want to see people be real, genuine, authentic. And I understand that when you get in front of the camera and you get in the DR, you'll play things up and you'll maybe, who was the guy from your season that yelled a lot? Sam, that was his name. He was very loud. But honestly, yourself,
I was guilty of it too. Like, it does happen. Like, and it's not fake. I know what you're saying, and it's not fake necessarily when you're in that position, but your adrenaline is pumping through your brains that you're just up. You are the up version of yourself. So I do think that it, to play devil's advocate a little bit, I think that we see that time and time again from the house guests, myself included. But I give them a little bit more leniency with that because I lived that, and I am an example of that.
Yeah, you played the game. But see, when I see you, Tommy, in the DR, you're just a very animated person in general. You talk with your hands. Like, you did that on the show, and I didn't think that was anything different. When Tucker goes in there and tries to act like Jim Carrey and has all these different voices that he does, and it's just a little extra for me, for him. Like, I just don't think, because I have seen him on the live feeds where he just acts and talks like a normal person, and I just wish we could get that in the DR. I don't think you were any different in the DR. Not that you can't be excitable in the DR. So that's what I think for you. You're just an excitable guy. You're a very upbeat guy, and it just comes across in everything that you do. Like I said, you talk with your hands a lot, but you did that on the show. He, on the other hand, like I said, is doing different voices, and he's like, well, what do you gotta do? It's just that kind of stuff is driving me absolutely nuts. Now, as for his gameplay,
that's what I really want to talk about, because that's where I have these strong opinions.
Yeah, I'm just confused on. So this week, okay, so as we know, we're recording this Wednesday afternoon. You're hearing this on Thursday. So we haven't seen last night's episode, but we know what happens. Cam beat him in Power Veto. He takes himself down, and T-Core puts up Angela. So for the first time in a while, I think it's the first time since Angela's HOH, Tucker did not win a Power Veto that he was involved in. Now, after this happened on Monday night, I don't know if people have seen this, but Tucker was just furious that Angela got put up. It's one of his top allies. He's been saying he's going to go to the end with her. And it turned into, I'm not going to try in the AI arena. I want to go home. I want to see my dog. I don't want to be here anymore. And the second I started hearing that on Monday night, I'm like, this guy is way too self-absorbed. He cares way too much about his status on this show. There is no way he's going out as a quitter after just dominating comps for 5 weeks. And in the last 24 to 48 hours, apparently that has changed. And he's absolutely going to try against MJ and Angela in AI arena. But just that, he just is very, very impulsive. And I don't know if that is great gameplay. And strategically, like you said, he's all over the map. I don't understand what he's trying to do. One of the biggest things in his mind right now is he wants to break the curse. I guess he was the first one to walk into the house, and that was just such a big deal to him. I'm like, he's focusing on micro stuff in terms of macro, the overall thing. And I don't understand it. So what's your deal here with him?
All right, so I just feel like honestly, I did an interview with Brooklyn when
Yeah.
she got evicted, and that was pretty eye-opening for me because I've gone back and forth. I don't know what his motive is in this game. Is it to win the game, or is it just to give us flashy TV? Because
Yeah.
sometimes I feel like he's not really playing to win. Sometimes I feel like he's just trying to cause chaos because the game doesn't matter to him. And he says that, like you said, he's threatening to leave. He's been doing this for weeks. And that was originally what rubbed me the wrong way with him, is that we see him say, no amount of money is worth this. I'm going to leave. I'm not going to jury. If I go to jury, I'm walking out. I'm like, you made him a commitment. Thousands of people would literally do anything to be in your position. You sound like a spoiled brat, like a sore loser. I don't have patience for that. I don't respect people like that. It seems disrespectful to the game that I grew up loving. So I get mad when I hear people talk like that. I love that he has caused this chaos and that people say he reminds them of old school Big Brother, and I completely agree with that. He's playing fearlessly, which I love. I love that he's not afraid to make a bold move. But I just want to know that at the end of the day, what's most important to him is winning this game, and that that he respects the game. And I don't always feel that from him. Sometimes his actions seem a little reckless for me.
Yeah, I agree.
And not taking yourself off for veto, fine. But it's like the constant house meetings, calling people out. I don't think there's any strategy behind it. And then when you see him lose a competition, he kicks and screams and threatens to leave.
Yeah.
It's annoying me. I don't have respect for that, because to me, it comes off as disrespectful. So those are my thoughts on Tucker. And it's polarizing because like I said, I love so many things that he's bringing to this season. The show has been stale for a bit. I get that. And it's exciting again. I love that part of it, but I just don't trust his motive. I don't trust that we are being told the truth in the DR by him. I don't get authentic from him all the time. And I'm just not always buying it. And I would almost respect the truth, even if it was, as long as it's the truth. But I feel like I'm being lied to by him sometimes. And it just puts a bad taste in my mouth. So I asked Brooklyn what her thoughts were on it, because they didn't get along. Yeah. And I brought it up. I said, I feel like this. I feel like this. She said, I think it's a little bit of both. I think that he is motivated by these challenges. He likes to challenge himself. And that's why the challenges are the priority for him. But she basically thinks that he also likes to make flashy TV. So, yeah. He's just a very complex character, and I'm loving watching him, but also hating watching him.
Yeah,
I want him out. I want him out. He's steamrolling the season.
Yeah,
they need to get rid of him the first chance they can. We've gotten a sneak peek at tonight's episode, and Angela is apparently trying to take him out. We've seen it on the feeds also.
Yeah,
I hope that this house wakes up and realizes that now is the time to take him out, because if they don't, what happened in my season with Jackson, I made that mistake. I thought I can get him out later. I'll hide behind him a little longer. It becomes too late. Then they start steamrolling. The winning those competitions is a skill that you cannot you can't overlook that. So I hope that the house guests take the shot as soon as they can, as soon as he loses. And for that reason, we got to see this AI arena go out the window so they have a better chance at getting rid of him.
Okay, so this has been my thing, is if you do want to get rid of him, as long as there's 2 chances every week, Power of Veto and AI Arena, if you want to get rid of him, you can't nominate him. You have to only give him 1 chance, which is AI Arena, and you have to get him on a back door where you basically, you don't nominate him. You hope somebody that wins Power of Veto takes themselves off, and you can replace them with Tucker so he has one chance. But continuing to put him up and giving him 2 chances, he's not going 0 for 2. We've shown that he's so much better. It's not like he's barely getting by. Tommy, he's blowing everybody out in these comps. Nobody's coming close to him.
100%.
You remember the one where they had to put the ball in the machine with the wind blowing? He had 20 balls before someone had 5. It was a joke.
I know.
Like, that's what I mean. I don't understand. If they do want to get him out, you can't nominate him. You just
have
to.
I hear you, but I think that it's so much more difficult for the HOH with the AI arena because a backdoor situation allows you to not, it's way less risky in a season without the AI arena. But should he win, he's coming back with a vengeance.
Yeah.
If you put him up and there's no opportunity for him to come off, it's just by a vote, then he doesn't have he skates by. I think that this is a testament to T-Core, how good of a player she is, that she is in an extremely difficult position. Like we said before, it holds a lot more weight to nominate 3 people 5 weeks into the season than it did week 1. Mm-hmm. So she had to nominate 4 people, and none of them, we're looking at the end of this week, none of them don't like her. All of them love her. The fact that she has 4 people that she put on the block that all love her, she's walking away from an HOH like that. That is such a skill. She put Tucker up, I think, here's what I think. I think that T-Core really wants Tucker out, and she maybe is going back and forth. But I think that all along she had in the back of her head, if he winds up going this week, it's not a bad thing. But she can essentially he volunteered, but he didn't really want to volunteer, and she just took that and ran with it. I think she's playing amazing. And so I just want to give her flowers because I think that she really deserves them after this week. And she's somebody who nominated him from the get-go. He lost the veto. We'll see what happens with the AI arena. If he doesn't win the AI arena and they don't vote him out, they're all stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid. They're going to be making the same mistake that I made. And I hope that doesn't happen. I really do.
Now, the problem is we don't know what the AI arena competition is going to be tonight, but that's why I asked, has everyone been a time thing? And we do think it is. Mm-hmm. I can't see him losing to Angela or MJ. I really can't. I don't know what it is going to be tonight, because when you have a trivia or you have some sort of memory thing, that seems to even out the playing field, because that's just, he can lose at that. Hell, he's only won one HOH. So it's not like he's dominating. This isn't, he's won 6 comps already this year. But I think most of them have been where you have to just finish something quicker than everybody else. I think those are the ones that he has won. He hasn't won memory ones as far as I know, and he hasn't won trivia ones. So, but I just have a feeling if we get another, hey, you got to do this in a certain amount of time, he's going to destroy Angela and MJ, and he's going to be safe again. And if Angela and MJ are the 2 up tonight, I haven't looked in the last 24 hours, but I'm sure they've talked about it on the feeds. If Tucker wins AI Arena tonight, who are they thinking? Who do they want to get rid of?
Mackenzie.
It's Mackenzie? Yeah.
That's what they're saying. And honestly, I get it, because the truth is, right now, the strongest core in the house would be Chemo, T-Core, Rubina, and Tucker too. Tucker's in there also. For their game, it's better to get rid of Mackenzie, and they've somehow convinced all the outsiders to just go along with that plan. I think that everybody else should fight to be keeping Mackenzie. I mean, Angela's on the block, so she's fighting to stay in that case. But I just think, of course they want to get rid of Mackenzie. She's the one that's more of a threat to their game. And I will say, I'm holding out hope that if Mackenzie could win this AI arena as well. She's won once or twice, I forget offhand, but she's up there in these competitions. She's proved to be a competitor. So I wouldn't. She won twice. So I just feel like, I just feel like I'm hoping that she wins and that it's Tucker and Angela on the block, and then I'm hoping they take the shot at Tucker. That's what I hope for.
And the reason, because the debate was after T-Core won HOH,
Mhm.
and once the power of veto competition ended and Cam had won, that's where politicking started, and that's
Yep.
where Angela started making it known around the house. Hey, I'm not as close to Tucker. Tucker's thinking that Angela, he's riding with Angela to the end, and she basically turned on him, and that got out. He had some very harsh words with Angela and told her, like, I've been your ride or die. I'm the one that's kept you here. And now I find out you're going behind my back, wanting to get me out. You're going up. And that's, T-Core listened to it. And that's why T-Core put Angela up instead of Leah. So
Which she wanted all along. Like that's
yeah,
like
shows you Tucker's power, I guess.
T-Core has gotten what she wants and somehow come out not being the enemy in all of this. And I just find that so impressive. I really do. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Keep going.
No,
Well,
what I was saying, it's just like the 6th Street, which is the 4 that you mentioned.
Yep.
Rabina, Tucker, T-Core, and Chemo, with
Joseph
bringing in Joseph and Angela, even though Angela just kind of invited herself and said, "Can I be a part of this?" I mean, that's the 6 strong. There's 11 left, right? And they've got the numbers. They could ride those 6 to the final 6, but Angela went behind Tucker's back. I don't know if I think they've patched things up, but if it is Angela against Tucker tonight, like you say, because you have no idea, like, again, when Tucker, as long as BBAI Arena is around, I just feel he's going to win one of 2 every week. He's not going 0 for 2 because he's so dominant. So if somehow he doesn't win AI Arena tonight, no matter who he's up against, if Angela wins it and he's sitting there against MJ, or MJ wins it and he's sitting there against Angela, like you said, you got to take him out. If you don't, he's winning this game. Tommy, I don't see anybody else with even half the resume that he has. And I know I'm not just going off comps, even though he's an absolute comp beast, but I'm going to give him credit because he's really good in these comps.
Yeah.
But it's not like he's going up against people that I feel are providing any sort of competition for him. Like the Wall, I feel he would have stayed. Like, I know he said it and maybe he's just talking and bragging about himself, but I feel he could have stayed up another 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Quinn had no chance against him again on the Wall. None. And I just don't feel like anybody's giving him any competition in these comps. So I don't want to take it away from him, but he's also, who else has a resume on the show, maybe outside of T-Core? Anybody else playing well?
No, well, also, I just feel like, don't you all want to have a chance at winning? Like,
yeah,
get rid of him so you got a shot. Like, winning any of the comps, like you said, no one's going to win anything as long as he's in the house.
And Tommy, you agree. If he gets to the end, he's winning, right? Like, I don't see him not winning.
I would vote for him in a heartbeat.
Yeah. So, yeah. So you had a season where Jackson was a comp beast, right? He won 10, 11, right?
Yeah, I think 11 comps.
Yeah, which was, I think, maybe at the time tied for the most, or maybe he set the record. I can't remember.
He's still tied for the most. One of them was a luxury comp.
Okay.
But people just like to forget about him and leave him out of the conversation. But he was a force to be reckoned with. He was
for sure,
extremely dominant.
He was a comp beast, and I know that there are some people that are like social game versus comp game, and yeah, just because Tucker's winning all these comps doesn't mean he's the best player.
Yep.
I mean, like you just said, if he got to the end, you would vote for him, and I think it would be he is playing well. He's erratic, sure. He's impulsive, sure. But he is so dominant, I don't think you can take that away from him in a season where anybody else's game right now, I just don't see their resume even half of what he's putting out there. He's just so good and so dominant. But the one chance you get, you got to strike, or else you're not going to win comps going forward. He's probably going to rack up 2 or 3 more head of households at some point.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, he's going to win some power vetoes or AI arenas. Like,
I think that the one difference, we talk about Jackson from my season because he was also very dominant. Yeah. The difference between Jackson and Tucker is that Jackson waited until 40% of the season was finished. He didn't start winning until we were like a little bit into the game.
That's right.
Tucker started winning right away. So I do feel like we saw with Michael from BB24, I think that we're going to see him get voted out at some point. I don't think that he's going to be able to take this the whole way. But yeah, I do think he's still a force to be reckoned with, and I could see him winning this thing. I just think that his path to the end is very difficult because of the way that he's played so far.
He's almost showed his cards too soon, and it's just like, okay, he's a comp beast. If we don't get him out, he's going to beat us. Like, you've spoken to all the eliminated contestants. Is the consensus is the house will take a shot at him when they have a chance, or are they saying, is Kenny saying, is Brooklyn saying, Matt, Lisa, are they all saying, no, they're scared of him, they don't want to take a shot at him?
Well, funny enough, all of those people are the ones that would have taken the shot at him. The people that are left in the house all have final twos with him.
Yeah.
Angela was right. Angela is right. He is working closely with T-Core and Chemo. He is working closely with Quinn now. He is working closely with Rubina. He's working closely with Angela and Joseph. He has a final two with everyone except for Leah and Mackenzie.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen. Like, if they don't, I don't know if these people are actually just playing him and they really are just waiting for they're using him until they have the opportunity to take the shot, or if they actually are wanting him to stick around. I can't really tell, because here's the thing. We see them talk on the feeds, but they don't always say what they're actually feeling, because they know it depends on who they're talking to.
Yeah. Unless
I'm seeing a combo between like Chemo and T-Core, those are two that I believe that they're going to always tell each other the truth.
Yeah.
There's very few people, like, even when they talk to Rubina, they probably have in the back of their heads, she's going to go back and talk to Tucker about this. So they're going to filter what they say to her. So we could see them saying one thing, but they might actually feel something completely different. And it's hard to sift through what people are actually feeling sometimes. So with that said, I don't know if they're going to take the shot at him when they get the opportunity or not, because you've seen them say that they wouldn't, that they want him in this house still. I'm just holding out hope that that's not the truth and that they actually are just waiting for the right moment.
As someone who played this game,
yeah,
I'm just curious on how you feel about, or how you felt at the time. Obviously, you all know that the live feeds are happening.
Mm-hmm.
Did you do it the same way? Did you like, hey, I'm going to tell certain people, like Chrissy, I think is the one that you obviously were closest to in the house, and you felt like, okay, I mean, you and Chrissy were kind of like the T-Core and Chemo of this season. You know, you just feel like that is your ride or die.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, when you knew the feeds are running, how did you handle it? And did you try and bite your lip on certain things because you didn't want anything getting out on live feeds that could be misinterpreted or taken a certain way? Or were you just like, no, I know what this game is. I understand what I got myself into. I'm just going to say what I feel. How was your take on the live feeds?
Honestly, I really didn't worry about the live feeds at all. I didn't think about them. You forget that you are on camera. You really do feel like you're in a house. The only time that you realize that you're on a set is when you look up and see hundreds of lights, hundreds of cameras. Like they keep them hidden in the corners of the room. It's really, they do a good job. So you forget. I personally did not worry about the live feeds because my number one priority was to win that game. I would have done anything to win. My season had a lot of controversy, obviously, and it's very interesting watching now as a fan and in hindsight, because I would go in that. My number one goal when I went in the house was not to be a perfect person, to do the right thing, to stick up for people when they deserved it. That wasn't what was on my mind. I didn't care about that. I would have compromised who I am in real life for the game. I would do anything to win and not paint a target on my back. But I just find it so interesting that fans of the show get so mad at people when they don't do the right thing in the house. But sometimes doing the right thing puts a target on your back. And so the answer to your question is, did I worry about the live feeds? No, I didn't worry about anything but winning that game, but keeping the target off of me. And even if that meant not doing the right thing. In real life, if I saw someone being bullied, I'd stick up for them. But in the house, No, you don't stick up for them, because the truth is that could put a target on your back and then you could get voted out. And you don't want that to happen. So I did not worry about the live feeds at all. I truly forgot that I was on camera and I was just being myself and focusing on each week and just staying in that game.
So let's just say at some point in the next couple of weeks, Tucker goes out, or just Tucker isn't in the final two, and so he gets out. I'm trying to think of, okay, now let's go down the rung of people left who has built up a good enough resume. Obviously, there's still plenty of game left. There's over half the game still
there
left.
is. That's the thing. We lose sight of that because so much has happened, but we are still just in week 5. Like, we have a lot more game to play. And if Tucker goes, people will have the opportunity to build up their resume. Someone that I wouldn't write off is Angela. For some reason, everybody, I know, but some reason, everybody that I talked to that got like evicted and stuff, they're all still, no one takes Angela seriously in that house. And I can't understand why. I think she just painted herself as a crazy person week 1. So people are writing her off, but
viewers or house guests,
both, honestly. But I think that she's doing a great job. Like, the fact that she was able to step back and say, Tucker, you have final twos with everybody. Like, who are you telling the truth with? She's fucking playing this game. She's here to play. I gotta give respect where it's deserved. I just think that she's more of a force to be reckoned with than we're giving her credit for. She's won 2 HOHs. Everyone wants to say that it was luck and write it off, but it's 2 HOHs that most people don't have. Nobody else in the house has 2 HOHs except for this 57-year-old woman. So she's doing something right. She keeps escaping the block week after week. She is painting targets on people when she needs to. Her enemies keep leaving the house one at a time. So, I don't know. I think that she's got a pretty good resume. I'm a huge T-Core fan. I just love watching her navigate this game. I think that she's awesome. Leah is somebody that everyone's sleeping on. She's managed to stay off the block, and she has so many people fighting for her. And it's kind of weird that they're fighting for her because she's not fighting for them. So it's kind of, I don't know how she has this power over these people, but she does. It's working.
Yeah. I mean,
those are some of the people that I'm into right now.
Yeah. And, T-Core and Chemo, you wonder, obviously, I think in their minds, they want to be the final two. And, and I don't think there would be any bad blood right now. I think T-Core has a much better resume than Chemo. Chemo hasn't won anything.
Right.
He hasn't really even been a threat in any sort of comp. I just don't see anything where he would get votes over T-Core if they happen to be the final two. But like we said, plenty of time left. Maybe he pulls a great game move at some point or directs a blind side and can claim that on his resume. We don't know yet. But yeah, I'd say right now, I think people could take Angela to the end because I think they think nobody's going to end up voting for her. Right. I don't know how well liked she is in the house. She's doing well in terms of staving off being eliminated.
Yep.
But if Tucker took it, if this twosome of Tucker and Angela ever got to the end, I mean, Angela gets 0 votes. I just don't think anybody's voting for her.
Yeah, I agree. And I can't figure out why. Why are they writing her off? Maybe in time she can turn it around, and that would be even more impressive if she's just downplaying her threat level and making them all think that she's just a crazy person that they could write off. But then towards the end, people start realizing that they underestimated her. Maybe she can have that game and that like a Nicole Franzel game in the first season that she played in. I feel like I could see it going well for Angela. I could, because they are writing her off. I might have my foot in my mouth if she gets kicked out this week, but
tonight,
but I don't know. I just feel like I'm very impressed with her. And I think that people are underestimating her skill level because she's so, and you know what? This is what I'll say. This is the difference between Angela and Tucker. Look how I'm fighting for Angela, and then Tucker I'm not into. Both of them are playing boldly, fearlessly, recklessly, but I never question her motives. I know that she wants to be here. I know that the game matters most to her. She would never threaten to leave. She would never, ever, she is appreciative. And you can tell that this means something to her. He just feels like a spoiled brat that kicks and screams when he doesn't get his way sometimes, and I just don't have patience for it. But they're actually very similar in that regard. And look how much I love her, and I'll like fight for her in these conversations. But for him, I'm not about it. I'm over it.
Yeah, no, it is certainly quite the dynamic, and obviously we just don't know going into tonight. Without knowing what the AI Arena comp is, I just assume Tucker's going to win because he wins basically everything.
Yep.
So we'll see. And gosh, if he is on the block, if somehow MJ or Angela beats him, you got to take a shot.
Something?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be something if Angela wins AI Arena over Tucker?
And is the person eliminated tonight? Are they first person on jury or no?
We don't know that yet.
We don't know yet.
We're gonna find out. Usually Julie says on eviction nights, congratulations, everyone here has at least made jury.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna see that. I mean, usually they do either a 9-person jury or a 7-person jury. So I think that we have a little bit longer to go.
Can you imagine if Tucker doesn't win AI Arena, whether it's MJ or Angela, and he gets voted out, like one of the biggest comp beasts we've ever seen in the history of the show can't even make jury? Like it's because nobody that didn't make jury has, I only know the show from your season on, because their season was the first one I ever really watched. But I can't imagine anybody in the previous 21 seasons, in the first 21 seasons, won 6 comps and didn't make jury. And was eliminated before jury. There's no way, right?
Yeah, you're right. It
would be amazing because everybody's expecting him, like, if he gets to the end, he's winning, but yet he might not make the jury if he somehow loses AI Arena tonight. And they do what they should do, which is we got to take a shot.
So usually Julie will announce on it, like on the live show, on the live eviction episode, congratulations, you all made jury. I wonder, there's still time for her to announce it if he gets evicted this week and they just want him on the show. She could reveal it once he's out of the house already. They might have that plan in their back pocket just to keep him around.
Yeah, no, we've got 11 right now, right?
But 11 people left. But then there'll be 2 on the
final 2.
Final 2. So this usually the jury would have been announced already if it was a 9-person jury. They would have announced it last Thursday, but because they didn't, people are thinking it's going to be a 7-person jury so that the votes can't be split down the middle. They do that. It's either 9 or 7, but they didn't announce it, so people are thinking it's a 7-person jury. But if he gets voted out, you're right. I think they want him involved with this season the whole way. I could see them revealing if he, during his exit interview with Julie, if he does get eliminated, hey, you actually made jury. We're doing 9-person. We would have announced it last week, but a plot twist where we are announcing it now.
What was your jury? 9 or 7?
9. I like a 9-person jury. I think that it's important. I do.
Yeah. And so you guys had a 9-person jury ever since your season. Do you know off the top of your head from 21 through 25?
They've done 7. They've done 7 people. Like last season was a 7-person.
Was it? Okay. I don't remember. Yeah, I don't. My retention of this, because there's so many episodes and they kind of all run together the seasons, but I can't remember number of jury members each season. Because last year was 7. Last year was 7. You think? You remember?
Yeah, last year was 7. I'm pretty sure, and I think the year before was 7 as well.
Was the year before Cookout, or was that 3 seasons ago?
3 seasons ago, and I think that was 9. But I'm not 100% sure on all of this, honestly.
That's right, because going back, well, we can go from your season to now. It was winners, Jackson, and then 22 was All-Star season, right? Or was that 23?
Yep, 22 was All-Stars during COVID, then the Cookout, then
Taylor.
And then Jag was last year, and now we're at this year.
Wait, who won All-Star season? I'm already forgetting. Cody? Cody, that's right.
And you know what? I'll throw some flowers on his name too. Cody's one of the best players that we've had in Big Brother history, and people just don't like to admit it. He's so good. The fact that he made top 2 both times, and the way that he seamlessly won All Stars. I love watching him play. I think he's so good at the game, so charismatic, great at competitions when he needs to be. Big fan of Cody.
So this should be, I mean, it should be a hell of an episode tonight. And like you said, this is all coming down to the AI arena. And can Tucker beat Angela and MJ? You would think he could, based on no matter what comp it is, but you throw in a memory thing, or, even that first HOH that Angela won, where it's just, hey, let's just roll a puck across a board. Like something like that would not give Tucker any sort of advantage unless, he didn't win the first one, so clearly, but what I'm saying is something like that, you couldn't practice at home. Nobody has a skill of rolling a puck across a board and landing it on a certain number. I don't want to say it's luck, but it evens out the playing field if you have something like that. But if it's,
Yes, I will say, I think that people, last year the competitions were, I think that in the past, Big Brother has not had equitable comps, that they've been like fair for everyone. But I think that this year they have done a much better job at making them fair, anyone's game. It just so happens that Tucker's extremely well-rounded.
Yeah.
Like if you look at the different types of competitions that he's won, they're kind of all over the board. They really are. I know you're right that a lot of them are the timed ones, the AI arenas, but in terms of vetoes or that HOH that he won, they're kind of all over the place. The comps are a lot more equitable this year than they have been in the past, which I appreciate.
I'm trying to remember now. Obviously, he's won 6. We don't need to go over all 6, but the one where you had the plug and you're running through a maze and it couldn't hit something or else it added to your time. He won that one, right?
Which I would say is a mixture of like athleticism, but also just like patience and like using your brain and being smart. So I think that in that regard, I just feel like some of these competitions are not just endurance. The wall one is just endurance, really, but pretty much everything else requires multiple skills and not just one. It's not just focusing on one skill per comp, if that makes sense.
Did he win the one where running across the boards and hitting the button for the score and whoever the highest score? Did he win that one?
No, Mackenzie won that one.
Was that Mackenzie? Oh, geez.
Yeah, that was.
I forgot already.
With the balls when you had to knock them off the middle.
No. The one where you had to run. It's almost like it seems like they run this comp every season where you have to run across like planks, and you have to remember you had to sprint and hit a button. Was that I think he won that. I think, but I can't remember.
No, you're right. Who won that one? It was Mackenzie fell and was going to win that. And was it Tucker or Cedric?
Yeah, was that Cedric's win? See, that's what I don't remember. But that comp has always seemed to be there every season.
I think that was the beginning of Tucker's like winning streak. I think that was the first one that he won.
Okay. Yeah, see, that seems to be a comp that they use every year. Where running across planks.
Yep.
How far did you last on the wall? I don't remember.
Well, it's an interesting question because the wall.
Were you out on that?
No, I was top 2 on that one. It was me and Jackson with that one.
Oh.
But what's it called? So the wall comp used to last for hours, and now it's not lasting as long as it used to. They must be tilting it at a sharper angle than they used to in the past or something like that, which is making it, we're seeing more athletic men win that competition than we used to. It used to be skinny, tiny people, like people with just like lean bodies. It could have been a man or a woman, but I feel like over the last few years, we're seeing more men win that comp than they used to. honestly, men used to not win that competition because they had more weight to hold on to.
Yeah.
So it would only go a little bit, and it was just easier for, I don't know what it is, but we're seeing people like Tucker, Jackson win that competition more now than we were in the past. I think I lasted, I honestly forget, but it was a while.
And if I'm not mistaken, Tucker won it in like 40 minutes or something like that. It was,
Yeah.
and we've had some that lasted in the past based on what I went on Wikipedia because I was like, it's seeming like Tucker won this fairly soon. And I was seeing like they ranked the longest wall winners.
Yes.
There was like a 3 hour. There was a few that were 3 hours back in the day.
Exactly.
So there's no way
yeah.
it that far and someone lasting 3 hours. You almost can't. It's physically
exactly.
impossible.
And that's why we're seeing stronger people last, because it's more about the muscle when you're going down at a sharper angle than it is just how long can your body keep going versus how much can you hold.
When you lost to Jackson, again, I don't remember, but were you offered a deal? Were you just like, and you couldn't take it?
I was at the wits, like I really couldn't last anymore. And he was like, I'll give you a deal. And I was like, all right, I guess I'll take the deal. I get to play in next week's HOH and I'm safe this week. Let's do it. So I took the deal.
And you were done. You couldn't last.
I was done. I couldn't last anymore. And he was an animal. So he was going to last a lot longer.
Yeah, I mean, he was a put together guy. He was big. He was strong. Like exactly what you were saying. Like that seems to benefit. The wall seems to benefit those people now. You know, even though he's got more weight to hold on to, he's also stronger. So maybe it doesn't clearly works out a lot. You know,
he also I gotta like give him credit. Like he had a very just as strong as his body was. His brain was equally as strong. He had a really just when he locked in, there was no beating him.
Yeah.
It was a mental thing too.
I mean, this is some great Big Brother talk. This is exactly what I wanted to get to, but
I love that you love it now. I love that you started watching with our season and then you just kept watching. I love it.
Yeah.
It's so good. I love it.
Once I got hooked, you know, for 21 seasons, I was just like, it's a show on 3 times a week. It's on the same time as The Bachelorette in the summer. I just didn't have the time to dedicate it. Dedicate to it. And the reason I started watching your season was because I knew Holly. We weren't close friends or anything, but she had been on my podcast before. So I'm like, I'll watch it. And then I was just like, okay, I'm sucked in. You look if Holly got eliminated in episode 2, I probably would have been out. I probably would have been out on your season.
Holly's another one. Like people don't realize how good of a player that she really was. She won a lot of competitions.
Yeah.
She won a crazy amount of competitions. It just so happens that Jackson won more, but comparatively speaking to other seasons, Holly won a crazy amount of competitions. She she holds the record, like one of the highest records for staying off the block the longest. It was me and her. We got put on the block the same week, but she went on 2 days after me. I think I went 79 days and she went 81 days, something like that. So her social game was incredible too. She is somebody that oh my God, I would love to see her play again. It just sucks because our season, had so much controversy and it was so triggering for so many people, and understandably so. I get it. It makes sense, but there were a lot of good players in my season. A lot of people were there to play the game and they played hard and they were great competitors that just kind of don't get the recognition that I think they deserve.
And Holly, if I'm not mistaken, even won late in the game when it was down to, I think 3 or 4. Didn't she win that endurance one where you had to hang on and it spun around? She won that one, didn't she?
She won that one. And what was going on was it wasn't until at least halfway through the season where then she would win an HOH, then Jackson would win the HOH, then she would win the HOH, then Jackson would win the HOH, then she would win the HOH. They just literally kept winning. They took a chance apiece at winning the next one. So they stayed safe for so many weeks.
Yeah. No, it's just,
they were good. They were good.
Yeah, I'm glad I've stuck with the show.
Yeah.
I definitely do enjoy it. I don't watch the live feeds, but I read,
Yeah, but you
the
keep up.
BBC Twitter, and I'm just like, okay, I just need a gist of what happened. I'll basically find out, okay, who won HOH Friday night, who'd they put up, and then on Monday, who won Power Video. So I
Yeah.
keep up to date that way, but I just don't have time to watch obviously the feeds. And congratulations to all the people that do have time and report it, because
Yeah.
thank you for doing that, because I just don't have the time for it. Obviously, Tommy, we haven't had you on since I believe would have been 20 when I was with Kat, so that was 2020. Yep. Yeah, that was during COVID.
When you two blindsided me and you had her on the call and you were trying to get me to talk shit about her, but I didn't, because I don't do that. But
yeah,
that was so funny. Typical
yeah.
Cat. Typical.
Yeah. The it's funny because there's probably two major things that have happened in your life since then that I want to talk about. You went on one of my other favorite shows. You went on the challenge.
Yes. Went on the challenge. That was like a fever dream.
Yeah. Like
it was so fun. I'm so glad I did it.
Yeah.
I got to go with Annalise, who is going back to what we were saying before, like you mentioned, like having a person that you can talk to and really be open and honest with in the game and not worry about what you're saying and who it's going to get around to. I was thinking about it. I really had a few people like that, honestly, in the game. It was Christy, Annalise, and Jack. Those three people, I felt like I could say anything to, and I would trust that it wouldn't get around. And that's something that, that not everyone has in that game. And I think that's why I always felt good in the house. Anyway, so I got to, piggybacking off of that, I got to do the challenge with Annalise, and I am hoping that the world gets to see what she's really made of without me, because I held her back. That's the truth. Like, I'm so freaking tiny. I'm not meant for that show. It's just not my thing. But I had a great time. I got to hang off of a building in Argentina. That was unbelievable. And I'm so glad that I did it. But you would think that, like, I actually thought that it was way more difficult than Big Brother was, and not even because of the physicality of the challenges. It was more about the mental game, like feeling like you are just a rookie and you're on the outs and your days are numbered and you're just paranoid and trying to stay out of the elimination. It was so exhausting. On the night before we got eliminated, before we went into the elimination, I was just crying, and Annalise looked at me. We had such a real, I can't say enough good things about her. Honestly, she's incredible. Somebody else who really, the world has not seen her potential yet. But anyway, she looked at me and she just said, Tommy, I know you like a book, and I know that you are just being strong for me, but I know that you're not okay right now. And you can let your guard down, and you can open up and be vulnerable and let me know what you're really feeling. That was all she had to say. And the floodgates opened. It was really tough, really tough.
Was it always hey, we want to get a Big Brother team and we're kind of mixing and matching? Was it always going to be a Tommy Annalise thing, or was it thinking, hey, we'll put Annalise with this person from Big Brother, or we'll put Tommy with this person from Big Brother during casting for that?
So no, honestly, people don't really because me and Christy had our connection outside of the game before Big Brother. People associate her and I together, which we're still best friends. Of course, as it should be, but they didn't associate me and Annalise together necessarily, but we were also best friends. She's literally she's my best friend forever. I love her. It's really the people that I'm closest to are Annalise, Sis, I call her, Christy, and Holly. The four of us, they're my home, honestly. And they're just the best. I love them. And everybody else, I'm still close with Ovi, with Nick, with Kat, with Nicole. And I've developed relationships with all of them, honestly. But with that said, What happened was I had been in for casting, Sis had been in for casting, and then they had this twist where they wanted to do teams, ride or dies, and we basically just said we fit this theme because we're literally best friends.
Yeah.
We were probably one of the handful of teams that actually had a strong relationship. I would say that our connection before going into the game fit the theme more than majority of the other couples.
See, I'm already forgetting. Were you Challenge USA or Challenge MTV?
Challenge.
MTV. So
the main show.
And that's the problem going on a show like that when you're not a regular. Like, no matter how good you and Annalise were, you were going to be targeted. You know, that's the problem being a quote unquote rookie. You know, the vets on that show, not in a mean way, or maybe sometimes it is a mean way, they gang up on the newbies and they're just like, you need to prove yourself. Like, did you know going into that, look, Annalise, no matter how we perform, unless we literally get immunity every week, we're going to be one of the early teams to go in? Because
I totally knew.
You know, okay.
I was going because I wanted to have an experience. Like,
yeah.
It wasn't about, I literally lost money going on the show. Like, you don't make anything especially when you're a rookie. So I literally had to like buy a whole new Under Armour wardrobe because you can only wear Under Armour. So I literally lost money going on the show. But it was, when you're offered an opportunity like that, you don't say no, because it's just how many people could say that they got flown to Argentina and got to compete in these challenges, run in the mud, scheme, hang off buildings with their best friend? Like, that is something that I will say that I would pay to do, actually.
Yeah.
So I knew that it was going to be a very tough road ahead, but it was more about just having the experience for me.
Yeah, I was going to say you wouldn't trade that for the world at this point.
Nope, wouldn't. Definitely not.
The other thing that's obviously happened to you since 2020 is you got engaged, and something that obviously you're very happy about. So tell us, were you, I can't remember who proposed to who. Was it a surprise? And where are you in wedding planning going on with everything?
So I met my fiance Joey in 2020 during the pandemic. We met on Hinge.
Oh, you met on Hinge. Okay. I was going to ask, like, where did you, I didn't remember, but where did you meet him? It's on Hinge. Okay.
We met on Hinge, and we got a cool story. We do. Like, I just love him. I'm obsessed with him. He's my he's my partner. He's my best friend. He's like a part of me at this point. We live together. He's downstairs working right now. We have our wedding day picked out, April 19th. I'm super excited. It'll be great. And we both just come from big Italian families. He's from the Bronx. I'm from Staten Island. So we fit together like a puzzle. It's great. I'm very lucky.
Before you met him on Hinge, just out of curiosity, before you met him on Hinge, were you new to Hinge? Had you been on a bunch of Hinge dates and you're just like, God, I'm about to give this up or whatever? Or was he one of the first ones? Where were you with that?
I was talking to a bunch of people, but I didn't go on a lot of dates necessarily.
Okay.
Because you only go on a date if you think it's going to be worth it. And I kind of just knew that it wasn't going to be worth it. I'm sure that I went on a handful of them. I can't remember offhand. It's honestly been so long at this point that I don't remember. But I knew right away, as soon as we went on our first date, that I knew that he was my person. I did.
Which is interesting because, like you said, it happened during COVID. So how did you manage the COVID thing? Because technically you weren't supposed to meet people who were new and you didn't even know them. You didn't know where they had been or who they had come in contact with. How did you guys manage it? Because that's exactly how Kat and I started dating. We dated during COVID, and we were basically both home alone, and that's how we started dating.
Yeah.
And we just told each other, like, hey, I haven't been hanging out with anybody. And I'm like, yeah, neither have I. So we met up and we felt we were safe. But same thing with you guys?
Well, okay. So here's what I'll say. And this is like the cool. All right. So when you meet on a dating app, it kind of takes the element of fate out of it, because you're like, oh, you literally forced it. You set it up. You literally both went on an app, you matched, and then you decided to meet up. There's no element of fate.
Yeah.
That's not true with us, because we matched in May of 2020. and we talked for a little bit, but then it fizzled away. I didn't know this at the time, but he was not out of the closet to his family. He still hadn't told his family that he's gay.
Oh, okay.
That was always a deal breaker for me. I wouldn't have dated somebody who was still in the closet, and I wouldn't have wanted somebody to come out just to be with me either. I wouldn't have wanted that pressure. So that was a deal breaker for me. If we would have continued to talk in May, we wouldn't have worked out because I would have written it off. So first week of August, he comes out to his family on his own. The week after, I message him again and I said, hey, I don't know if you're still on this app, but like, what's up? And I picked things back up. If we would have continued talking when we originally matched, it wouldn't have worked out. But so I always think that that's a fun story because, you know, you hear a dating app and it makes you feel like there's no element of fate. But I do think that we were meant to meet, and it feels like fate to me.
So when you first started talking to him in May of 2020, he told you I hadn't come out yet? Oh, he never told.
I didn't know.
Oh, okay. So you didn't know.
We didn't get that far. So I had no idea. So that's why I had no idea. But if we would have continued and gotten that far, I would have written it off.
And he told you, oh, by the way, I haven't come out yet. You would have been like, it's just not for me.
When we started like really talking end of August, and here's the other thing, like what I was going to get back to was how, like during COVID, how was that meeting then? I feel like in the summer, things kind of calmed down with COVID. Like people were going outside a little bit more. It was not going away, but the wave of COVID was not at its peak. And then it picked up back again in the fall.
Yeah.
Well, because we were all still figuring out what it was. But what happened was in March, it really hit. We were all inside. And then by August, we were kind of like, and July and August, we were like going outside again. It wasn't spreading as much. And then it picked up again and we went back inside. But we met during the window where we were kind of like testing the waters still a little bit and going outside as a society. So we got lucky in that regard as well.
Yeah. Kat and I were the opposite. We met during the
worst time
when it started. And that was just one of those things where nobody was doing anything. And she's just like, I haven't seen anybody in X amount of days. And I'm like, well, neither have I. So clearly we should be fine. And then,
are you dating now? What's going on with you?
No, not anything serious. Just talking and maybe seeing if something goes somewhere.
Cool.
There's, I don't really talk about it too much, but it's always been tough, for me. I don't want to say I'm picky because I don't think I am in terms of like looks. I don't care about blonde versus brunette or tall versus short. It's never been that with me. It's just, for me, I've always been very private about my personal life. Kat was the very first person in my life that became someone who other people in the Reality Steve world knew about, because she had been on reality TV and people knew her. And it took some adjusting for me. And then to post stuff, Kat is obviously very photogenic. She loves posting stuff on Instagram, and I'm the opposite. And I'm not saying that ultimately led to our downfall. It's just, I don't think if Kat and I would have kept going, I think that ultimately would have been our downfall. It's just, I wouldn't have been able to take it. And, nothing against her. I have no problem with her being that way. I just know after a while, I wouldn't have been able to keep up with it. And I just knew it would have eventually set in. But for now, for me, it's just like someone that I date has to understand also, the second I say, even though I'm not any sort of celebrity, I've never been on a reality TV show, I am known within a niche audience of the Bachelor Nation. Whoever I do date, once it is public that I am dating them, they have to know that like they're going to get judged. And it's just a weird thing to put somebody through because people are just going to have comments, I know. Most will be positive, but Tommy, I wasn't going to bring this up, but now that you brought it up, I will. I'm
sorry to put you on the spot. I just want to know.
I have no problem. I have no problem talking about that, but it reminded me of something that I saw about, just talking about how judgmental people are online. And you and your fiance had put up a post. I can't remember how long ago it was, maybe within the last 6 months to a year, about receiving hate online. And I hate that you have to go through with it. That you have to go through that, and it's just, I've never gotten it like that. And obviously, being part of the LGBTQ community that you are, obviously we know it's easier for people to hate on people that are, different from them. And I just want you to kind of talk about it, and just how did you deal with it? How do you deal with it still? I mean, I'm sure you get comments here and there, but did it put a strain on your relationship at any point? Like, how does it feel to have to be marginalized like that and be put through that? It's got to suck.
First of all, I'm like laughing because I love that this is turning into a therapy session.
Yeah.
We were like literally like meeting up to talk about Big Brother. I'm obsessed. But all right, so Joey, my fiance, works in finance. He is not in this world at all.
Yeah.
But you say that whoever you date has to understand this part of your world, and it scares you sometimes, it sounds like, because it's a lot to put on a person and
who didn't ask for it, who's not in that world.
But here's the thing, they are asking for it if they want to be with you. That's what I've had to surrender to and learn. It's a part of me. This is what I do. I podcast, I do Broadway shows, I do reality TV shows. That's who Tommy is. And so if you want to be with me, then this is what being with me looks like. You have to embrace and love this part of me as well. And then you find what works for them and what doesn't. You have to have these conversations and talk about boundaries. My fiance gets nervous on camera. Like, he's not obsessed with it all the time. And so we have to like pick and choose what we do. And I respect that, but he's also the most supportive. He's extremely supportive. I'm very, very, very grateful for that. All this said, don't let that intimidate you. Like, whoever it is will be okay with it, and they got to be okay with it, because that's who you are. That's what you do. And it's exciting. That's the other thing. Like, what we do is exciting. We don't have a 9-to-5 where we sit down, a normal person job. And I think that's why they're attracted to us in the first place. Like, because we're not normal. We're weird. We're crazy. And I think it's okay to embrace that and not think that it's something to not be ashamed of, but just like be nervous about or have reservations. I think it's something to embrace, and just know that, like, yes, it might be tough sometimes to get that hate online, but think about how we got to go to the opening of this Broadway show. Think about all the exciting things that came because of what I do. And it becomes worth it. It gives you tough skin. All that hate. I don't even, when someone gives me hate, I don't even get mad. I just and I don't even judge them for it. I'm just like, all right, they're at a place in their life where that's what they think. And I hope that they find out that what they think is wrong one day. And that I hope that they just come from a place of love. That's it. Yeah. That's all you could do. I've just gotten tough skin over the years, and I don't judge people when they give me hate, because I am a big believer in, this is like one of my mottos. I don't believe that there are many bad people in the world. I think that people just do bad things because of bad things that have happened to them. I think that a lot of our issues stem from our childhood, stem from our trauma, and they cause people to do things that maybe they're not proud of or that hurt other people. But I don't think that they do it out of a malicious intent. Usually, I think that usually people just do things because, hurt people hurt people. That it's that saying. So it doesn't bother me. I could go on so many tangents, Steve. I'm literally just such a talker. I'm sorry, but it just doesn't affect me. I'm like, I see it. I like to more draw attention to it because I think it's important to know that it's still out there. I think that I'm blessed to live in New York City and come from a family who does accept me and my fiance, but that's not the case all over. And sometimes it's good to bring awareness to the fact that there is a lot of hate out there and that people aren't as accepting. Even though we live in 2024 and even though it's not in my immediate circle, it still is out there and a lot of people are dealing with it, and that doesn't fall unrecognized. So, yeah, I wish that he wasn't in a meeting, because I would honestly ask him to jump on and be like, how do you feel like being like getting hate? Because he gets it too now sometimes. And it's like, he's gotten good at just dealing with it. That's it.
You mentioned last thing here. You mentioned Broadway shows.
Yeah.
Are you in one right now? What was the last one you did, or what's on the horizon for you?
Well, funny enough, so Big Brother happened in 2019, and then for, like 6 months after that, or whatever, however many months, I was just coming off the high of the show. I wasn't working. I wasn't performing at that point. I was doing appearances just in the reality TV world. And then the pandemic hit and Broadway shut down. Yeah. And it took me until this year to get back to Broadway. I opened a new Broadway show this year. It was called The Heart of Rock and Roll. It did not do well. It closed. But I've been lucky enough to jump right to the next gig. And now I'm doing another show in New York called Titanic. And I'm performing again. It's amazing.
It's awesome.
I'm very freaking blessed. I really am. I'm doing what I love. I've got a bunch of different pots on the stove, whether it be podcasting, reality TV, and theater. I'm doing it all and planning a wedding, and it's all good. A lot of good things.
Nice. Just out of curiosity, have you seen the Back to the Future musical?
Yeah, and I loved it. I thought it was exactly what a musical should be in 2024. Great story, great dancing, great performances, great music, and the set is so immersive. It's incredible. I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, it's coming to Dallas, I think, in March of 2025, and definitely want to go see it because I've heard nothing but, I mean, everybody that says it's just awesome. And I'm, being an 80s kid myself, absolutely obsessed with everything Back to the Future. I talk about it all the time on my podcast. I have seen the movie at least 100 times. I quote it to my friends all the time. Like, it'd be dumb of me to not see. And, I've never been a huge theater guy. I think I've seen Phantom and I've seen Wicked.
Okay.
I think those are the only two I've seen. And I actually saw them in New York. And there might've been one other one that I saw, but I can't remember. It's not coming to me right now, but Back to the Future, I have to see it. And I think it's here in March. So I definitely,
I
don't think I've talked to anybody. I've seen the reviews. Everybody loves it. The critics love it, but I haven't talked to anybody who's actually seen it, but you've seen it. It's great. You love it?
Love it. You're going to love it. It is so fun. It's like a great homage to the movie. For people who are fans of the movie, you get exactly what you want and more. A lot of times when they do stage adaptations of movies, people are either disappointed or like wanted something different. They give all the fans of the movie exactly what they came there to see and more. It's amazing.
And speaking of movie, you talk about stage adaptations of movies, or how about movie adaptations of stage? Are you pro or anti Wicked as a movie?
Pro. Okay. Very pro. I've seen Wicked on stage over 30 times. I'm obsessed with it. I love it. I watch videos all the time. I love seeing what all the different actresses bring to the Glinda and Elphaba role. I love that show, and I'm so freaking excited. I'm so excited. Yeah. I will be there at the first showing. My family and I have already spoken about getting tickets to the soon to the first showing as soon as they come out.
Nice.
I can't wait.
Yeah, no, that's I definitely. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be there first night, but it's definitely a movie that I do want to see. I want to see the interpretation and see how. Now, granted, I saw Wicked on Broadway, or back in the day. It's got to be 15, 20 years ago. Like, I got to refresh my memory on the story itself. Like, I'm kind of forgetting the story because it was so long since I saw it. But anyway, Tommy, thank you so much for coming on, man. I loved having you on. I'm not going to wait 4 years to have you on again. Maybe make this a yearly thing, talking at some point during every summer during Big Brother, we get you on.
Sounds good to me.
Congratulations on everything. And obviously we'll be in touch, man.
Thanks, Steve. You're the best. Thank you.
You got it.
So
Bye.
good to talk to you. Bye.